Sweating with no shirt on and I'm blowing these palms. Missing my dog, but it's okay, he's tatted right on my arm. And it's Durango, yeah, I really wish this rental was
Yeah, man. So, welcome to Styler's exclusive, bro.
Hey, shout out to New Lifestyle Media. I gotta give a shout out to my boy Geezer. I got his apparel on today. You gotta go holler at him. He got a good deal for the shirts. But my name is Marley Carter, and it's good to be back. What's up, y'all?
Yeah, man. So, look, we just gonna go fresh. Like, you got the long dreads on. You know,
Yeah.
everything going on, freshed out.
Yeah, man,
Yeah,
I'm
man.
trying to get fresh these days. I feel a little better about myself recently, you know? So I'm trying to like dress to express, you feel me?
So, is this like the reinvented Marley, kinda?
I mean, I guess you could say that. You know, reinvention means so many things to me, but I'm definitely reinvented for sure.
Yeah. So, I know we have a lot of things to talk about.
We do.
A lot of things that have happened, within the last time that we had you on Styler's exclusive.
Right. It's been a long time. I can't even remember how long, but it's been long.
So yeah, you've done a lot of different projects. Like your most recent project, I think we talked about like four. Maybe you can just like name all the projects the recent ones that you put out.
I got you. And I mean, it kind of feels like a couple of my singles have been projects because I put a lot into it, especially the videos. But more recently, like at the beginning of Corona, it was around March, I dropped a Carefree remix. That's originally by McJenkins, but I did the song with my boy Rock, shout out to him. We just went to a random location and shot it. We definitely had no plan for that, but it came out beautiful. And shout out to That's My Visuals for helping us out on that. Better Know is one of my most, I think for me, my most significant breakthroughs in music. I think from that point on is when I took the next step in my creative process. I got another one, Friends and Foes, that I had recently did. That's an old song, but it had been like 2 years since I had dropped the song on SoundCloud, and it was just time for a video, so I had to do it. And the last one I did, I dropped it in June, was Father Time, and I think that's my best video to date. Shout out to That's My Visuals. That's the guy for every video. You see a video, he did it. That itself, I think, is just self-explanatory where my mind is at, the way the world has been. But yeah, that's just my most recent. That's just my most recent work that I've put out. And also, I almost forgot to mention, I just put out an EP. It's 3 tracks. It's called The Sunny Collection. It's on all platforms. I ain't got no videos out for that yet, but y'all know what to do. Go check it out. But yeah, that's it as far as the music, though.
So now let's talk about Father Time. Is it something that was more of like a personal experience, or?
Yeah, absolutely. Father Time was just self-reflection, and just how really I honestly had trouble adjusting with time. I got older and my mind was still, younger. Just, playing catch up with myself mentally and the things that I went through to get to a better self. That's pretty much what it is. That and just shining some light on injustice as well in the world we live in. But yeah, it's kind of like covers it.
Now, speaking of injustice, you you're heavily involved now.
Yeah.
With what you're doing, giving back to the community, being involved, with just everything, being outspoken on social media, talking about everything. What makes you, or what made you decide, like, you know what, this is exactly or the place where I want to be?
What helped me decide that, honestly, and it might be a lot of people's answers really, but it's kind of ironic that it took this to kind of like made me get to that point. But when George Floyd passed away and the circumstances that caused his death really kind of woke me up and made me realize that like this has always been inside of me. I just hadn't got the courage to act on it, but I finally got the passion from that to, start doing everything that I'm doing now.
Interesting. Now, seeing or being down to, actually on the ground with people,
Yeah.
what are the most struggles that you see or identify, just besides, injustice? Because injustice is one thing.
It
I mean,
is
like,
one of many.
it's one of the many issues that you actually see that, people need, or issues that we need to address in our community.
Yeah, that kind of just like made me sit there and think a little bit, because like that just made me realize, like, starting out, I had tunnel vision. It was kind of getting a perspective of one thing, but once you dive into it, you realize there's so many things going on, and it's hard to kind of like focus on one thing, and you want to help everything. Me being an empath, but like, mental health is one. I honestly don't think that our men these days are being taught emotional intelligence. And we see a lot of depression all the time. And I just think mental wellness, I think, is one other thing that needs to be addressed, because all too often see a lot of people struggle, and they have battles with mindset, and more so than what's around them. That comes with influence, but that's one other thing. There's me personally, I think kind of focusing more on around us and locally. I think, trying to kind of like put it into words the best I can, but the kind of like the creative scene is, I feel like, is evaporating in a sense, because we have a lot of these venues closing down, and I personally don't feel like that there's enough like ready and open spaces for creatives to come and just have a place for an outlet, and they don't have to have any like social class, or they don't have to be like at a certain point in music, or perfected anything a certain way. Just a place to hone their craft. I don't think that that's available for artists and other creatives alike. But I think that's just three things, because we'll be sitting here talking forever. Yeah. It shouldn't. You was just talking about building that outlet for people.
Yeah, so, but then, like, so you have, talking about outlets and all that. Now let's talk about, because I feel like if we, and I'm gonna narrow it down to just black people.
Right.
This is how we're gonna dive in the conversation of talking about black people. There is a lot of black millionaires at this present time, and I feel like if we really wanted to build something, which is a struggle right now, black people don't own like a black people Wall Street like it used to be back then before they burnt everything down.
Right.
But you have a lot of black millionaires. If they chose to come together, that would have happened.
It's all about trust. Man, the world's so cold. Don't nobody trust people. And I think it's, more so an emotional thing, and people just trying to protect themselves, not knowing what they're getting into, partnering up with other people. I know me, it's like trauma, trying to trust people, and it just not working out, or they're not there, for the reason they said they were. So that takes a lot to do, and you could be sacrificing your whole life doing business with the wrong person, And I honestly think that's what it comes down to, just my opinion. And of course we can't make excuses, because we have to tackle the issue, regardless. But that's just the main thing for me, seeing and experiencing so many of my own failures, but also so many other failures, trying to depend on other people. And I know everybody can relate, to that. And it's so hard to find people that's dedicated. And I think, just having the right outlet, having the structure to identify those that, have the hustle, to give the right people a sense of security and feeling safe when working together,
So now talking about trust, trust because it ties into everything. Like, so you don't have trust, but it might be because of the trauma that your own people have put you through, and all this. Because, like, I can say I've tried to do business with my fellow black people, and 99% of the time, besides my employees, 99% of the time of every subcontractor that I try to hire, up to this point, I've never had a black subcontractor come and do anything for me. They've always disappointed. Like at the very last minute when I need them to show up, they just disappoint. So I had to make a choice. I'm like, why do I need to be in business or keep calling people that are always disappointing when I have people that are reliable that I can just call up somebody and they can show up right now? And it's always happened to be either Hispanics or white people. You know what I mean? So you have that trust that is just burnt, not by one person, but by a majority, by a series of different people who look like you, that you're trying to give opportunities as your fellow brothers. But then how do we overcome that? Because I'm trying to give them an opportunity. I'm not the one who's doing it. These are the people that are doing it to me. And I've tried to you try to explain to them why you're even doing it. But then, and it's different people, and they still burn that trust. So how do you overcome that?
It's kind of hard, and I get nervous even talking about it. But I honestly think people can't be afraid of being honest. Their real problems and the real issues they have. I think pride gets in the way of really kind of like unveiling that. People are too pride trying to uphold certain things when they really need help. We gotta move as a village, as a family, because you're gonna have to trust your neighbor eventually, but we trying to survive. If we want to build everything that we say that we wish we had on the internet, and if everybody really wants to make a real change, I feel like that we have to start getting comfortable with trusting strangers. It seems impossible. It seems like it'll never happen, or it might even be a crazy idea, but you got to be willing to build the type of relationships that you cherish now with new people to find new things. That's what comes with change. Because if you ain't got it in your life right now, you obviously have to look for it elsewhere. And I think that's just self-explanatory, because if it's not there, you gotta look for it. It won't just come to you. And we have to go get it. We have to go gain the trust of our community, and black community to be specific. Because I'm not speaking in general for everybody, but I do see a lot of distrust amongst my peers and way too many bad experiences as far as business, but just life in general, by other people that look like them. And I just think it all comes with love and trust, man. Treat them like you're trying to be their friend. That's the most simple way I can put it. You got to give people what you want to receive, and it'll come back to you. But I'll stop right there.
Except I see that, you do that, but it always doesn't work out.
You got to keep trying. Just like you try to get the perfect job and it never works out. You can't just give up. What you love to do, what you have now. You would. I'm pretty sure you failed a million times, to get there. Plenty of times, people have to, just be okay with failing over and over again until you get there. Because the perfect situation won't just fall in your lap. It's an accumulation of effort and understanding. You just have to keep going. Even when things get difficult and hard and it seems like you ain't got nobody, make an effort to reach out to a new person, the effort never stops. The marathon continues. I think the biggest revelation slash breakthrough you'll have in any self-driven career is when you stop caring about what people say. I'll even add to that. You got to worry about what you want, however it applies to whatever you do, because what people want always changes. But to kind of be comfortable and ready for the long run, you can't worry about what people say, because it will a lot of the times misguide you from your truth. There is sometimes good feedback, but you know who to trust, whose opinions actually matter instead of the masses. Because a lot of the times, I used to find myself trying to change off of opinions, for people who didn't care, for a second about, just me or what I wanted to do,
So then in another thought, sometimes when you stop caring, I guess, in what light are we talking about stopping to care? And I know you're saying, let's see if I can get it.
Well,
I know you're saying, stopping to care what people are saying, but in what light are we talking about? Because some people might look at it as a way of, it might cause people to also be egotistic.
Yeah.
And avoid having conversations because they think they know it all.
Yeah, there is a fine line, and you're right, and I'm glad you pointed that out. Because I see plenty of it. People, being egotistical, in my own experience. But I just say in a light of time, in your own pace, and I think a lot of people spend a lot of times, telling people what they think they should be doing and how they should be doing it, when you can only do it the way that fits you. Your problems are not somebody else's. They are in a light because everybody can relate, but it's like you got to live you and be 100% you, and just being genuine with yourself is most important, and stop caring about what people say. And it's okay if people don't agree with you, it's okay if people don't like certain things, it doesn't mean it's bad. Everybody knows that there is a scale of what's good and what's not, but just in a sense of trying to embrace you and be yourself in the midst of trying to please other people, and people will want what you got, because if you're yourself, you're like nothing else. People want unique things, and if you're 100% yourself, that's all you need.
So does that bring us to the next topic of the importance of having conversation?
Yeah.
So that brings us to the topic of, the importance of having conversation then with people, right?
Right.
But why is it so hard then? And maybe you can stress on the importance of, just having a conversation with people, and why is it so hard that people feel like they can't receive any criticism, they can't listen to nobody, everybody is, this is just the almighty at the end of the day.
Right. It's just however it applies to your life. If you're receiving criticism from somebody who knows or hasn't tried for 1 second to do what you do, then we know that that's not that criticism doesn't have leverage, because they've never done anything that you're trying to do. But I think criticism is important from people with experience, and to a certain extent, people who matter in your life. Just trying to weave out the irrelevant things, because I know a lot of internet shit will get to people. When you got bad feedback or bullies or trolls or whatever it is, or seeing somebody else's success and thinking that you have to follow that. It might not work out as fast as it does, for that other person, for you, but you know, you just got to, you know, be yourself. That's the only way I could really put it, because it's just like when I stopped trying to like make stuff to please other people and do things to please other people, you know, better things started happening for me. I started being happier when I knew that I could only be me. I could only do things at a certain pace, and I gotta be 100% myself at whatever cost. Um, and it's a thin line, because really, no matter how I explain it, it'll resonate with people, however it resonates. But you know, of course, I do have good intention, you know, to try to, you know, help people like, you know, get over that hump of not really understanding like their place, or fighting between opinions and what you want to do, you know.
Like you see, you know, most famous people, celebrities, giving into the whole social media trolling. Of course, they have, you know, a bigger platform and all that. But like, is that something that maybe you ever experienced before? And of
I've
course, it's not to that, you know, capacity. But
Yeah, it's not to that degree, um, but at one point, like, you know, I did like let it get to me, but I had to understand like that's what the internet is. It's for entertainment. It's for a show. Everybody's gonna have their own opinion, um, you know, and you can't let that shit get to you, because I can't broadcast like certain things the way people do. Like I just couldn't do it, and I simply just don't care. Like how me debating, like sometimes it's good to have like certain conversations for people to see that they can learn from. Sometimes it's good to lead by example and show how people show people how to like deal with those things. But it comes to a certain point where it gets too much, and you gotta just let go of it. That's why you see certain people, they following 5 people and got 1 million followers, because they just don't want to see all that other stuff. And you simply just block it out, you know, send it out the door. All that negativity, there's no point in entertaining it at a certain point. Make your point, fulfill yourself if you have a point to make, but then let it go. You always let things run through you once, and then after you let it run through you, figure out a solution. And you know, to that, you know, nip it in the bud if you feel it's necessary, but after that, you need to let it go. Don't fall victim to a scenario over and over again. You're not trying to prove anything to anybody after a certain point. It's all egos and a mess. I see so much stuff going on social media, and I'm quite frankly just tired of it. I got to a certain point, it's like, shit, my music's gonna be there. I'm about to deactivate all this shit, because it's always constant, like, it ain't no in between, like, it's constant drama, constant mess. It's like the internet thrives off of controversy. But that's just what it comes with. But it can be a good and bad thing. It's just how you look at it. It's not all bad, but there's a lot of bad. But yeah, that's something that kind of recently manifested itself. The importance of entrepreneurship to me is solely owning something. I feel like we live in Torrent. Sometimes, things in my perspective seem a little temporary from the outside, as far as like mindsets and people trying to get the fastest thing that can come to them, when whatever you get from the long run is more worth it, and it's always more worthwhile. And just the importance of owning something is really, I think, the only thing I need to stress about entrepreneurship, because when you have your own, you don't have the same problems, it definitely makes your lifestyle better, and people who are able to embrace that are more happier, of course. But if you can start your own business, do it. I know everybody, especially me, is tired of working for somebody. And you can build, you could build like family wealth. You can pass something down to the next generation. Keep that stuff going. Like these other big Fortune 500 companies that don't care about nobody. It started with entrepreneurship, and we want something to give to the next lifetime, and that's it pretty much.
So now, as an entrepreneur myself, one thing I see, I'm glad you talked about the 500, Fortune 500. One thing that these guys also do is it was started by somebody, but earlier on we talked about trust that we don't really have as much in the black community. When you look at white people companies, you see a lot of crowdfunding. It's not always been that because white people have money,
Right.
but they source money, and there's enough white people that get behind them. There's websites like
Trust.
Seed Invest. I'm always on there, and other websites where you look at places where you can invest money. But if somebody's tech company, these people didn't even have all the money. Give them 5 years from now, they will have the money, but they actually didn't have all the money to start by themselves. It's just a lot of other people, a bunch of other people got behind the idea. And we don't really have that in our community. Of course, it goes back to, trust. But do you think maybe that's something that you think, you know, we can hope to look forward to?
Yeah, I know we can look forward to it because a lot of things have changed for the better. A lot of people are making that effort to come together and make a progressive and worth change for community and the world. I feel like that the Corona gave us a peace of mind, plenty of time to spend with ourselves, and plenty of time to think about everything. Like it gave us the time that we never had. And I feel like that's going to happen sooner than later, and everything that we see happening for the better is here to stay and more. You know, so I believe in it. I definitely see a better future, and especially for Lexington, we've already seen our community come together a little more than usual over the coming years, and a lot more things happening. So I just feel like it's going to come full circle. Like, there's great things in store, and 2021 is, hell of a year.
Now, on the last note, black women are not always protected,
No,
and
I said that myself.
it's very sad to see black women going through this situation in our very own. She didn't even receive that was like until later on that she actually her name was still being talked about, as opposed to people you have George Floyd. It doesn't matter either way. Both cases are sad, tragic, sad cases. But just what Breonna Taylor, it wasn't just something that was mainly talked about until now recently, where people got behind that because they got tired of the BS and all that. Why do you think our women are really not so much of an attention when it comes to our community, and what do you think should be done from us men to actually uplift our women?
Me personally, I think a lot of the times, and this is just the society around us, because it doesn't just start with our black men. It really starts with the construct that birthed this nation, that, kind of like molded us in this, I don't know, kind of bad way of treating women these days. Is just trying to um, if you can't take the power away from something, you distract and mislead. And I think the power in black women is what might, and women in general, but we're talking about black women. But I think that's what keeps people, trying to stay in this box of just not caring, about black women and finding importance in black women. I see it all too often in a lot of things that we look up to, like entertainment and sports, and you know, a good majority of, like, you know, the wealthy community, because it's like we see a lot of celebrities these days going through like domestic violence disputes, and you know how these men with money batter women and abuse women, especially kids, free the children, because you know sex trafficking is a big headline these days too. And I just feel like, you know, society is just trying to hide the power of black women, and women themselves are honestly more powerful than men. What's more godlike than creating a human being, you know? And I think, you know, in a sense of what we worship, everything that comes, you know, revolves around creation, falls in line with women. And I feel like that the only thing that we can do is just stretch the truth. I like analogies a lot, so me personally, I would just, you know, try to bring understanding with, you know, the way things are, and you know, the only comparison I have is God, and you know, because without women, men wouldn't be here. And you got to understand everybody, because you know, people find excuses to treat women bad because of who they are or what they do. Like OnlyFans, you know, people try to, you know, attack women over OnlyFans a lot, and I look at it like, well, shit. I wish, you know, I had a hustle. Not everything is degrading. It's a mindset. If people are comfortable with doing whatever it is, it's nothing else but what they want to do, you know. But to stay on track, I'm going every other place besides the topic. Just more importantly, we need to openly discuss, you know, we just need to openly discuss